10th victory of the season. He gets a ride in the British Supersport Championship as his prime for next year. But all still to play for in second position in the championship, with Peter Ward and Ashley Beach still battling it out for that second position. Tommy Dale a little bit further down than he would want in third position. He was a retirement in the previous race. He's on that pole position, so he'll be looking forward to trying to put that one right around the Donington Park circuit. The instruction to the riders is watch the lights. The red lights come on and out they go, and we're racing here at Donington Park, and it looked like it was a good start for the number...
It's Luke Jones.
It's Luke Jones, it is. Jones, the champion, the white crash helmet there, James, he's got the start that he wanted.
Yeah, he did, and once again it'll be just the start that the others did not want to see, because he has been so unbelievably quick all year. As you say, 10 wins, 7 in... The rider's all right, the other guy's gone... that bike is snapped in two. Oh my word. The thing is, it's the first left-hander you come to, and the tyres aren't warm, you have to be very careful. There's the other rider, so...
Ashley Beach it was taken out in that one, but, well, that triumph is distinctly second-hand after that one. The good news is that rider is perfectly okay. Well, Ashley Beach's triumph, not a lot left of that, James.
No, there's not. That is... I'm just sorry to see that. He's very unlucky. Michael Laverty crashed there in practice and then rode the bike back and it didn't dig in. You know, you can just be poor Ashley Beach. Very, very unlucky, but luckily he's up. There's lots of runoff here. But look at the lead it's given Luke Jones.
Absolutely. Phil Atkinson, number 2, in second position. He's got a good start as well, but Luke Jones, the champion, with that superb victory in yesterday's race. He is away at the front, and poor old Ashley Beach, he had a wrecked motorcycle to contend with at Cadwell Park. Not a shadow of what that machine they've got to do to that one. That he's going home in his skip, I would think. But Luke Jones on the first lap is away at the front.
Peter Ward running really wide there.
Well, pesky Peter Ward under number 32. That's allowed Freddie Pett to come back in the black leathers under number 66, lap 2 of 10. Phil Atkinson with the South African decals on the crash helmet there. Peter Ward under 32 just looks on the inside, and this is a little bit better from Tommy Ward, number 21, who's at the back of that little quintet. But Peter Ward, he's still battling. There's still 1 or 2 prizes up for grabs. It's important that he tries and gets the second place. And now with the demise of Ashley Beach, who he was battling for that third position or second position in the championship with, now it's looking a little bit more rosy for Pesky Pete.
Yeah, no, it's taken a bit of the pressure off. He did have a 12-point lead over Ashley Beach, but as you say, right nearly over the curves on the inside. This is the first lap. Now watch. He gets a little... his 2 tangles go on there. Sorry. There's Tommy Dale. He just clips the back of a rider, then poor Ashley Beach here. You see his bike, and that bike just gets destroyed. I just really feel for him.
Yeah, have to wreck 10 grand with the motorbike in 5 seconds. Looks like one of the riders has gone... that's Hayden Lowe that looks like he's gone down. That is the South African visitor on the run up from the old hairpin through to Schwantz Curve. So good news is that Hayden Lowe walked away from that one, from Peter Maritzburg in South Africa. Phil Atkinson, talking of South Africa, that's the Middlesex-based South African who's had 4 successive podiums, and he is the man entrusted to give chase to Luke Jones, but only after 3 laps, James. Luke Jones got a 3-second lead. Then talk about celebrating in style.
Someone's gone really wide there, but
I think it was Dusty Miller, that one. Ben Miller, number 78, that ran very, very wide. He took the holiday route, but it looks as though there could be 1 or 2 spots of rain out there. It has clouded over a little bit here at Donington Park, and what the riders will be seeing is that rain visor that will be emanating onto their visor, James. And as a rider at 120 miles an hour, it looks a lot more worse than what it actually is.
Yeah, it does. You know, we always call it at this bit, and it looks like we might have a red flag. It is raining on part of the circuit.
Yeah, we have a red flag, and that is purely because of the track conditions, whereby the race organisers decided that because there is rain falling down in the air here at Donington Park, then they've red flagged this in the interests of safety. So a sensible decision, as is normally the case. And you could see a big black line there. One would imagine that's perhaps where Hayden Lowe actually tipped off in earlier on. So we're Let's see if we can have a look at this big off that you rightly identified, James. It looked as though there was two incidents happening here.
Now watch the man in second and the man in fourth.
I think, and then it just seemed as though they were not related at all. Right. But this is the problem. You just want the bike to slide there.
This one here, and it
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 pounds worth of damage. That's how easy it is. And poor old Ashley Beach, when he picks himself up, just watch the body language. First and foremost, self-preservation. I'm fine. Then he sees the bike, and now all his Christmases have just ended at that point. Look at the body language. He can see the bike in component pieces. And poor old Ashley Beach, well, he's going to have to get a little bit of overtime in to fix that one.
He will indeed. That is one ill motorcycle.
Well, we have got the red flag situation. There won't be a result declared on this one. We're only 2 completed laps into the 10-lapper, so the riders will be making their way back. We will have a foreshortened race in this one, but the rain just steadily falling here at Donnington. It was forecast. We thought we were going to get away with it, but unfortunately not the case. So the weather forecast just... Unfortunately, the weather's blighted us again. It seems to be a habit of the 2011 season, James.
Yeah, and just looking out, you can really see it on the track. It's that really horrible condition. You know, it's got a little fine amount of rain, but you can see it. It's leaving marks off the tyres, and it's enough to make things very, very slippy. Look, there you can see it on the camera. The organisers doing exactly the right thing, just getting it stopped, for safety. And it looks we've got quite a big wind that's pushing everything along, so with a bit of luck this body of cloud and rain will just shift along and we can get some more clear skies. The
remnants of Hurricane Carla, I'm told what it is, James. We weren't expected to see it into the region until tomorrow, but obviously the fairly strong wind has blown the bad weather in. That's Phil Atkinson, you can see with the distinctive South African colour scheme. And what the riders, that's the working on the rear wheel. You can look at the tyres there. They are whilst they're road legal in all intents and purposes, then they are changing their tyres. But I think we could just hand across to Tony Carter. So a slightly revised grid, given that Ashley Beach had tipped off. He won't be making the restart, but Tommy Dale on pole position alongside Luke Jones, Phil Atkinson and Peter Ward. Row 2, Ben Miller, Freddie Pett, Joe Collier and Tom Ward. Tom Whedon, Tom Hayward, Ben Taylor and Piers Hutchins. And row 4 sees Jordan Watlin, Jim Lovell, Ricky Elder and Richard Stedman. So under slightly cloudy skies, that little rain shower that we had that brought to a halt the first attempt to run this race has now passed through. We have got a dry track, but still 1 or 2 threatening clouds overhead. You can see Alan Woods there with the red flag. It's blowing in the breeze, quite a stiff breeze that we've got here at Donnington, so hopefully it will just blow what little rain might be still around out of the region. Keep your eye on the rider in the centre of the shot with the white helmet, because that is the champion. He's got the whole shot once again, Luke Jones, and he was away at the front, some 3 seconds up the road, some weird and wonderful lines in towards Redgate Corner. Phil Atkinson slots into second position, Luke Jones away at the front, and this, James, was where we saw all the fun and games in the first race. They'll be aware of that.
Yeah, that's right. It's just as we said in the first time round, your left-hand side of the tyre isn't that warm, so just everyone's gently through that, which is good news. And again, Luke Jones, though, what a start he gets. I mean, he just does everything right and makes it so difficult. Phil Atkinson again in second. He was in second in the first spot, so at the moment a bit of a mirror start.
Race reduced down to 7 laps for this, the 15th round of the 16th round of the Triumph Triple Challenge, and Luke Jones, the young Hereford rider, away at the front. Phil Atkinson, he's having a good late season run of form. He's had a number of podiums in recent rounds, suffered with arm pump at the start of the season. As they head onto the Dunlop Straight, it is Jones ahead of Atkinson. Tommy Dale, this is a little bit better from Tommy Dale in 3rd position. Tom Ward and his namesake, no relation, Peter Ward, in 5th position ahead of Freddie Pett, Ben Miller, Tom Whedon and Ben Taylor. Over the horizon in towards the Melbourne hairpin, also gently on the brakes, and of course that little bit of rain, James, will have just dampened not only the track down but also the temperature as well. Yeah, you can see the clouds as well, how grey it was looking into certain parts of the sky. As we watch Phil Atkinson again getting a little bit sideways in there, and he's just created a bit of a gap. He's let number 33 there just slip through. That's Tommy Dale. Tommy Dale, the big sort of winner of the stoppage really, because he was on pole position. Is Atkinson going to go back into Redgate?
Oh, Tommy Dale uses all the pit lane. Great line, but the 18-year-old, he was on pole position. He was the one that clipped in full spot and ran off the track at Craner. Kept it upright, but rejoined right at the back of the pack. So this is ideal for him that it's been stopped. And he's been on a good run as well, Larry. You know, he's had, he's had 2 seconds and 3/3 out the last 5 races. So he really is 6 races. So he really is in some good form.
Yeah, it took him 3 metres before he even stepped onto the podium, but now starting to come good is the number 33 rider, but it must be demoralising this each and every time. In recent rounds they've seen Luke Jones at the front, the former British 125 champion. You would think that now he's won the championship, perhaps he would just take things a little bit steady, Jim. Obviously not a bit of it. There's Freddie Peck going through the screen there, number 66, and he will be looking to try and scrap its way out for the podium.
So reminiscent of the JPS Norton when you see him a bit like that, isn't it? All black and the little pinstripes, and you know, it's Triumph, but it's English anyway.
Yeah,
but it
British bike, and we just need Trevor Nation, Steve Spray to come back out of retirement and ride one of these things. Well, the Triumph Triple Challenge, well on its way.
I saw a Marshall running there. I hope that didn't mean someone slipped off, but as you can see, it looks like Peck just having a little look up the inside there, but couldn't make it stick that lap. But one of the things you said about Luke Jones, Larry, and that is you can't give him the start.
No, he's probably the smallest, the lightest rider in the field. Yeah, well, I don't know, Steve Spray. I'm pretty sure that Steve Spray, former British champion, I'm pretty sure he'll be coming along to see us at some point.
We've just been sent a little note there.
From James Whittam, that is, if Steve Spray's lawyers are actually listening. But Peter Ward, well, he's still battling for second position in the championship, so he's got all to play for, but he's got no answer to Luke Jones. Luke Jones, as we were saying, he's a flea weight, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the smallest rider out there, and as a result, he gets the whole shot, and there's no topping him in this one.
No, you've got to go with him. You can't give him the chance. Remember, all these bikes are identical, so there's no advantage in that way. So the lap times are tight, and you can't give someone like Luke Jones a start because you just never catch it back. You know, they're all on identical Daytona 675s. They can be any year from 2006 to right now 2011, and it's a really good series, because it's a fair series, and it just goes to show how well Luke Jones is doing, that he's dominated a one-make series. Here we look at Peter Ward, who's the Triumph test rider, so he knows these bikes inside out and has helped develop them there.
Of course, Donington Park, the home of Norton as well, whereby talking of the British motorcycle industry. And great to be back here at Donington Park. Phil Atkinson, number 2, just ahead of Peter Ward in that 4th position. But ahead of these, we remind you, Luke Jones and Tommy Dale are away. They're 1.5 seconds up the road in front of this scrap for the 3rd position on the podium between number 2, Phil Atkinson, 32 Peter Ward, and 66 Freddie Peck. But just as they were exiting the screen, at the top of the screen, just going in towards Goddard's corner now, Tommy Dale. This is a little bit more like it for Tommy Dale. Peter Ward, a very in line into Goddard, and as with a number of these corners, James, blind apexes, you've just got to peel in. Coppice Corner is another one, over the hill in towards Melbourne. Goddard's, which is a downhill exit, so difficult to actually judge them.
Yeah. Well, you've just got to really get your timing, your sequencing about. Donington's all about getting a good rhythm. You try and attack it too hard, you try and get too aggressive with it, and it just won't come. You've got to get that rhythm, you've got to feel the track, get into the groove on it, and when you do that, it's one of the best and most rewarding tracks. It really is fantastic, and I, like you, are just so chuffed we're back at this wonderful circuit racing motorbikes again.
All credit to Kevin Wheatcraft and the rest of the Donington Park squad for bringing top-class motorcycle racing back to the Midlands, and it's been off the calendar for a year, but great to be back here with a full contingent of British Championship racing. And what's more, James, had it passed on to me that World Superbikes is back here at Donington Park in May of next year as well, so lots to look forward to as well.
That would be good. Sorry, just Peter Ward, you can see, is really... He's looking for a good
You get the impression that Atkinson is maybe just holding Pete Ward up here a little bit. If he can get a run on him down the Dunlop straight on the brakes, he was later on the brakes on that one, and here's the move, James.
Yeah, you could see it. He'd had that intent as he came into to Coppice, and you could see what he wanted to do there. And just a really good move. He's good on the brakes there. Quite a big lad, Peter Ward, but he tucks in pretty good. And just getting it stopped and hung up. So into 3rd for Peter Ward.
Peter Peter, of course, who is still battling it out for the Harley-Davidson trophy, so he'll have his eye on that. He stands a very good chance of winning that later on in proceedings, but now up to third position. This is the battle for first and second. Well, it's not really a battle, it's another high-speed demonstration ride by Luke Jones ahead of Tommy Dale. This is the scrap for the final step on the podium. Peter Ward has got it so far. Phil Atkinson under number 2, and Freddie Pett still disputing it. A little further back in 6th position is Ben Miller ahead of Tom Ward, Tom Whedon and Piers Hutchins, and then Ben Taylor rounds out the top 10. But round lap 5 of lap 7, and really they've got no answer for the front-running riders on this particular occasion.
No, Luke Jones looks like he's going to make it his 11th win of the year if he carries on like this with just a couple of laps left, and 8 in a row, so it just goes to show. Now Luke Jones, as you said earlier, the prize for winning this championship is a ride in the Supersport Championship next year. So we look at that, Freddie Pett making the move up the inside there of Atkinson, so a good move there, nicely timed and nice and neat.
Just wonder whether or not Atkinson is still suffering. He suffered from these arm pump problems earlier on in the season, and he's gone back from 3rd to 5th position. Luke Jones, it is former British 125, you were saying, he's got the lap record there, but this prize of a fully funded ride with triumph in the British Supersport Championship, James, that's something not to be sniffed at.
No, not to be sniffed at at all, and he deserves it, you know, he deserves it. He's come here on this one-make series, and he's really...
He had a plan though, didn't he? That was the whole plan, was to come and win the series and take a step backwards. Remember, this was a guy that was racing in British Superbikes last year. He's taken a little bit of a step back in the nicest possible sense of the word to win the championship, so he can then take a step forward. So certainly a very much a career plan for Luke Jones, and what better than to celebrate the championship with a victory. Again, it would be a double here at Donnington, to add to the ones that he had at Cadwell Park, to add to the ones that he had at Brands Hatch. He took 2 other race wins at Snetterton and 2 at the early season at Brands Hatch as well. Fair to say he's been pretty dominant.
He has indeed. He's a nice lad, and you know, he carries on like this, he's going to have a good future ahead of him.
Well, certainly away at the front, some 3.2 seconds is advantage with that lap record just ahead of Tommy Dale, and this is the scrap for 3rd position. If anything, Freddie Pett has got desires on that podium with Peter Ward, the Dark Prince, just in front of him.
Exactly right, Larry. You could see that, couldn't you? Actually, they've just both broken Atkinson, and you mentioned arm pump. If you suffer from that sort of thing, this is a notorious track for it, because you do not get much chance to rest at all. A lot of hard braking, and people that suffer arm pump often have big problems at this track.
Yeah, certainly the 2 switchback hairpins, but this looks like the scrap for the final podium spot, and Freddie Pett is with him. Lap 6 out of 7 of the black machine of Freddie Pett, number 66. He's going to tuck in behind the very tall figure of Peter Ward now as they head down the Dunlop straight. He's in an ideal position. He dips out of the slipstream. Not quite. Is this a dress rehearsal? Perhaps next lap.
I think so, although Peter Ward looks like he's got his bike set up really well on the brakes. Oh, he's made a little bit of a mistake there, just crossed the curb a fraction too much.
He does take a lot of curb in with him. If you notice down at Schwann's curve, he does take a lot of the curb with him, does Peter Ward. Freddie Pett has in a look on the inside. They've dispensed with the threat from Atkinson, and this is the scrap for the bronze medal step on the podium.
Yeah, but I think he's definitely going to make a move at some point. But as I say, Peter Ward's bike just looks so
good. And again,
good.
Another mistake from Ward. He was a little bit late on the brakes. Freddie Pett will be picking all this up. They come around this for the final time now. 1 lap left of the Donington Park Grand Prix circuit, and this is the scrap. Forget about the race winner or the race leader, Luke Jones. He's away at the front. Tommy Dale in 2nd position. This is the battle for 3rd position, and the question is, we know that he's going to make a move. Is Freddie Pett just takes a look over his shoulder. The question is, James, whereabouts? Peter Ward looks as though he's covering it.
This is one place you can make a move. If you can get out of here, up the inside into the old hairpin, not quite close enough. So now you've got to build. Come out of here, up through Swanson's, and try and make a move for McLean. So
see if he takes some curb on the inside, Peter Ward. There again, see, he takes a lot of curb on the inside, a lot of confidence on that curbing as Peter Ward up through the long left-hander, uphill through Schwann's curve into McLean's corner.
And that was a nice line from Ward, just made it very difficult, forced him to the outside. This is where he's got to be close. He's got to get on the back of Ward here if he wants to make a move at the S's.
And he's exactly poised, perfectly poised as they come through the double apex right-hander of Coppy's corner and leads them onto the straight. Peter Ward, he just runs a little bit wide. Freddie Pett just gets the momentum. He needs to tuck into the slipstream. It's who late on the brakes. Ward brakes, and Pett, he can't do it. He's got 2 chances left. One is at the Melbourne hairpin, one is at Goddard's. I think Peter Ward might have this covered, James.
Yeah, he was so clever. His positioning there was absolutely brilliant. Forced him to the wrong side and then back. He's been really clever, and look how stable his bike is on the brakes. He's got it set up really nicely for him there. But this is where we saw him make a mistake on the last lap. He's got to keep it neat.
Well, here's Luke Jones. He's going to take victory. His 11th of the season for the new champion. Happy enough with that. Tommy Dale gets second position. Peter Ward goes into the corner. It's going to be a switch back. Freddie Pett looks on the inside, but it looks as though Peter Ward has got this one covered. Gasses up towards the line, and that was an ideal example of defensive riding by Peter Ward. He looks over the left-hand shoulder. He couldn't see where he'd gone. Looked over the wrong one there, Pete. But that is a superb effort. Great last lap by Freddie Pett. Nice to see that as well, the exchange handshakes. But Peter Ward, who takes his 9th podium of the season. But Luke Jones, well, he's the race winner yet again. Tommy Dale just offers the hand of congratulations. That's the 11th podium for Tommy Dale, so he's happy enough with that one, as they two look behind them to say, well, where's the rest of the opposition gone? Peter Ward it is that gets that 3rd position ahead of Freddie Pett. But that's the champion, that's the race winner. Luke Jones, well, you can do no more than that, James.
Yeah, I mean, 8 in a row, it is amazing. 8 race wins in a row, and this one makes series, remember, all these bikes are identical, so he hasn't got an advantage there. He's just been out riding them. It does help that he's quite small compared to, for example, Peter Ward there, who's in front of him, but you know, you've still got to get it pedalled along, and he's been doing that beautifully, smooth, neat, all that 1-2-5 experience. You can see that in his style, and he's just, but he's also been very clever. You know, he's finished every single race, you know, he's had one fourth, but apart from that, they've all been 1st and 2nd.
So the KGD racing rider it is that takes victory by 5.5 seconds over Tommy Dale in 2nd position. Peter Ward in 3rd. Rounding out the podium, Freddie Pett, Phil Atkinson, Ben Miller, Tom Ward, Piers Hutchins, Tom Whedon and Ben Taylor are the top 10. Jim Lovell, John Watling, Ricky Elder, Joe Collier, Wyatt Wadlow, Wilson, Stanford, Stedman and Jones are the top 20. The championship already confirmed for Luke Jones, ahead of Peter Ward, who now consolidates that 2nd position ahead of the crashing and non-finishing Ashley Beach. Tommy Dale in that 4th position now has ideals on that 3rd position as well. Phil Atkinson, Tom Hayward, Freddie Pett, Tom Whedon, Piers Hutchins and Tom Ward just separated by a point. Miller, Taylor, Elder, Collier, Stanford, Watling, Waddlow, Stimson, Lovell and 5 lowly points for Richard Stedman. So again, it was Luke Jones that got the whole shot for the 2nd time of asking. Phil Atkinson, the South African, went with him as the pack jostled for position in towards Redgate Corner. And in all fairness, that was the last that the pack saw of Luke Jones. This was a scrap for 3rd position. Phil Atkinson just got muscled out of it by Peter Ward. Freddie Pett in that 5th position. He had desires on moving up the leaderboard, which is exactly what he did at McLean's Corner when he went underneath Phil Atkinson into 4th position. They then saw Peter Ward in his sights, but Luke Jones came across to take an 11th victory of the season. Looks behind, sees nobody. Tommy Dale in that 2nd position, and this was the scrap for 3rd. Peter Ward made a little mistake, but it didn't cost him. Freddie Pett tried to go around the outside, couldn't quite make it, and it was Peter Ward that got the rostrum in 3rd position. Luke Jones and Tommy Dale congratulate each other, and once again another superb Triumph Triple Challenge race.
Well, we're here at the end of pit lane with our 3rd place finisher, Pete Ward. Pete, your nickname is Pesky amongst the paddock. You were very pesky to Freddie Pett there. How aware of him were you on that last lap?
I knew somebody was there, but I don't use a pit board and don't look behind me, so I knew somebody was there. I was just trying to hold them off. I was having a few problems with the bike backing in, and I'm just trying to consolidate 2nd in the championship now. Luke's won it, but big thank you to Stratstone and all my other sponsors, Comtech, Chase Accident Repairs, Sapphire Glass, BlackRock, Oxford Products and HJC and Daytona Boost, and everyone else that helps me as well, and Triumph Motorcycles for these brilliant Alpine style leathers.
Brilliant. Well done, off to the podium. Nice way to thank everybody by bagging another podium finish. Our 2nd place finisher, Tommy Dale. Really, once he got way up front, there wasn't very much you could do about it, Tommy.
No, I mean, he rode a brilliant race. Didn't make one mistake. Couldn't close him in, you know. I see the gap going up behind, so settled for 2nd. Really happy with the points. I'd just like to say thanks to my dad, Kevin from 11KV Limited, Richie from Power to Connect, Dave from Kingston Motorcycles, and happy birthday to my brother tomorrow.
Oh, really? His birthday? Superb. How old?
16.
16. Oh, we remember being 16. Off you go to the podium. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go, 2nd place finisher, Tommy Dale. Now our race winner, once again, Luke Jones. Well, you must be getting bored of that top step of the podium, but then I guess, Luke Jones, you never do get bored with the top step of the podium.
No, I think that's the time you give up racing, when you get bored of the top step. No, I mean, I'm not sure what happened with Tommy. I was expecting a good fight from him. He's been quick all weekend, but I mean, I just got my head down, and yeah, the wind played like a real big factor out there. It was real blowy. Like, the amount of times you'd miss apexes just because you get a gust of wind, but no, I'm over the moon. I decided to dedicate this one to girlfriend Amy and my daughter Leah and my daughter Maisie. This is for them. So
Very nicely done as well. Dad has had a good day at the office. Will they go to the podium?
thank you, cheers.
There we go then, Luke Jones, he will head upstairs to take part in the podium. We're off for a very short break and we'll bring you everything else that happens here from Donnington. When we come back, we'll see you in a couple of minutes.